Hello, welcome to the first episode, Horror Nights with Jazzy. This is one hell of an incident. Well, fortunately, since I have a weak heart, I wasn't the one who experienced what I am about to describe. This happened with my best friend, Renu. Renu is married with a 3-year-old kid, residing in her hometown, Haridwar. Few months after completing her second master's course from Gurgaon, she moved back to Haridwar with her husband and kid. They rented a house instead of moving in with the in-laws because of their giant Saint Bernard. Her kid was hardly a year old then. The day they moved in, they were informed that the landlord's mother passed away a day before due to long-term illness, of which she was being treated in Delhi. The landlord is a well-established businessman and has few properties in and around Haridwar. The landlord's wife informed Renu that his mother was very fond of the house they were living in right now. In fact, she told Renu that the lady chose colors for the walls, designs for tiles, etc., all by herself, particularly for that house, and lived in the same till she was taken to Delhi for her treatment. Even during her last days, she kept on insisting on coming back to this house in Haridwar, but unfortunately, her wish could not be granted due to her heavy medication required every day. New home. Renu and family had been busy settling down in the new house. After a week's time, when they were finally done, Renu took a quick bath and brought dinner into the bedroom. Her husband asked her to wait till he gets freshened up too. While he was in the washroom, Renu heard someone switching on the dining room's tube light. She was startled for a moment, but immediately thought that it was her husband. After he came back to the bedroom, to Renu's surprise, her husband asked her if she switched on the dining room's light. Although they assured each other that the place was old, so the switch could have gone faulty. The same week, one night while they were sleeping, both of them were woken up by sudden sound of a wardrobe being opened in the dressing room. They did not move an inch and decided not to get up and look. Next morning, when they woke up, the wardrobe was open as they heard, but nothing inside had been moved. They ignored it and moved on.
A week later, Renu's husband had to go to Delhi for some business meeting, and she was alone with her kid that weekend.
Without any deny, she was very scared and decided not to switch off the lights of the house that night. Her kid had fallen asleep after dinner, and she dozed off as well, watching TV. Around 2 a.m., she was suddenly woken up by a strange, strong vibration. She was scared to death, but decided to be strong, for she was alone with the kid. She followed the vibration, which led her to the washroom, where she saw that the washing machine had been switched on without any clothes in them. She immediately switched it off and returned back to the bedroom, but couldn't sleep for the rest of the night. As soon as her husband arrived the next morning, she told him all about the incident, and they decided to hold a puja, meaning holy prayer ceremony by a priest. The puja went on successfully, and the priest said that such presence is very natural, but no harm is intended. The family was relieved for a few weeks, but not for long. One day when Renu was cooking in the kitchen, her husband was off to office and her kid was playing around in the hall, she suddenly heard her kid's Jeep turning on and moving. It sounds same as a normal vehicle. Let me tell you that this Jeep has 2 modes. The automatic mode, in which the Jeep would run by the remote control, and the other manual mode, in which the driver would drive and control the vehicle. Since her kid was small, the Jeep was always kept on automatic mode. Coming back to the story, Renu ran in the hall and saw her kid standing in a corner of the room, and the Jeep was being driven by itself. She trembled and looked for the remote control, which she found kept over the fridge inside the kitchen. She was scared to death by now. She pulled her son towards her immediately, and then observed that the Jeep's movement did not look like a case of loose circuit, but as if someone was actually driving it. It was moving back and forth and taking turns with horns. Renu gained all her strength, grabbed her phone, and made a video of it. I was cold when I saw the video later. She immediately called her husband and asked him to come home. He rushed back and saw Renu with their kid outside the house, scared to death. He grabbed a log of wood from outside and went inside the house to find that the vehicle was still now. Renu later showed the video, and and he too was in shock and disbelief. He got the toy checked thoroughly by a mechanic who assured that there was nothing wrong with it. By now, Renu's husband had started looking for a new place. Renu was absolutely sure of some kind of presence in the house. I remember her telling me that she could feel someone looking at her from the hall or pressure on the bed as if someone just sat on it. Of course it was dangerous, but that time I couldn't help praise her guts for handling such things. The last incident she told me about before moving out from that place was of when she and her kid were alone one night. She was making the kid eat his meal while watching TV in the bedroom. The kid was playing around and ran into the hall after his ball, chanting, "Mummy, Mummy!" Suddenly, he came back running to Renu, all shocked, and pointed at the hall as if he saw something. As soon as Renu turned over to look at the hall, a female sound chanting, "Mummy, Mummy," came from there. Renu turned cold. She gained her strength again for her kid and shouted "Konhai," meaning "Who is it?" And there was absolutely no sound. She did not have the courage to go outside the room and check though, so she simply locked herself with her kid in the bedroom and called her husband. Within the next week, they were out of that place. All is well in the new place. I wish her and the family peace and happiness. P.S. I had been to her place earlier for a couple of days when she was in the same house, but luckily did not come across anything paranormal. Also, I have penned down the most crazy incidents she came across, but the above said is not the complete set of incidents. Hope you guys like this story. If you like it, please leave a like and do subscribe for more stories like this. If you want to share a real-life horror story of yours, please check description. Thanks.